I'll call a regular monthly meeting of the Johnson County Fiscal Court order at this time. First item on the agenda is the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is the approval of the minutes of the December 14th regular meeting. You have those minutes before you. Is there any suggested changes, corrections, or amendments to the minutes?
Move to approve that today.
I have a motion by Commissioner Daniel to approve the minutes of the December 14th meeting.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Adams. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Next item is the approval of monthly bills. You have those bills, I think, before you. Is there any changes or corrections or anything extraordinary about the bills, Andy?
No, they're as usual, Judge.
Okay. Motion to approve the monthly bills by Commissioner Adams.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamble. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion carries. Next item is transfer to the jail fund, $40,000 standard monthly transfer. Before we do this, Mike, I've been talking to some of the people out there at the jail and board, and apparently we got some issues that I'd like, if you would please, to maybe give some of the other county attorneys a call and see if we can get some answers. It's my understanding that there's some arrearages that's being run. A couple of counties are having a hard time paying their bills, and I understand that. Nobody understands that better than we do. We have a hard time paying our bills too. You know, you got bills you have to pay, and the law says you got to pay them, and you need to pay them. And the jail bill is no different. And I think maybe there might be some issues with some delinquencies that need to be looked at. And there may be one or more of the counties that are involved in that with us. And the 4 counties actually own the jail, it's my understanding that the deed's in our name because it's in our county, but we're one of the 4 counties that were permitted by the statutes to have a regional jail, and that's what we've got. I understand that there's a couple of issues with one county that's deducting, I think the rate, let's say, is $25 a day or something like that. But they may be deducting $2 a day from their employee count or whatever, and is not paying that much now. You know, if the rules are that the rate is set by the board and that's what they're setting, I don't see how any single entity can decide that I'm going to pay that rate. So if you would, we'll have some more conversation on it. I'd like you to call the county attorney, see if we get some understandings on that.
All right. Be happy.
Having said that, I'd like to ask for a motion to make the transfer to from the general fund to the jail fund.
So
Motion. I need a second.
second.
A second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is amendment to the sheriff's budget. Ordinance related to the annual budget amendment thereof, whereas the county of Johnson realized unbudgeted receipts from insurance payments on damaged cruisers of $3,014, returning fugitive $1,743, tax commissions $44,065. Be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Johnson County, Commonwealth of Kentucky, the sheriff's budget for fiscal year 2015 is amended to increase the receipts of the Johnson County Sheriff's 2015 general fund by $48,000 to include unbudgeted receipts from the insurance payments I just read, the tax commissions I just read, and returning fugitive. And they're transferring that, or amending their budget to move that $48,822 into police equipment $15,000, vehicle maintenance and repairs $2,600, and transfers $31,222.
The tax commissions in addition to what you budgeted for.
Apparently, I don't really know. The transfers are generic, and that's a $31,000 transfer. But I think maybe we need to get that specified, more specific on what that's being transferred to. Is that a line item that's transferring that to, Eddie?
I think so, Judge.
Okay, if that's a line item, it's different.
She's got an account number here, see? Got an account number.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve that amendment.
That's a reserve transfer is what that is.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Daniel,
Second.
second by Commissioner Gamble. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the second reading of the clerk's fiscal year 2016 budget. We had the first reading last month. We went through the line items last month. I will indicate to you that the numbers if you look at the first page and the second page, you're showing receipts, estimated receipts for the budget for 2016 of $6,015,584. And if you look the remaining 3 of 5 pages, you will see that her disbursements and her salaries and the standing orders are all encompassed in that. Clerk salaries of $355,000 for 2016. Line item expenses $643,000. And the final, on the last page of her budget, the total disbursements is $6,015,584, which equals the disbursements equal the receipts, and the budget zeroes out. Any questions? Not
This is exactly the same thing we approved last.
same one we approved last
There was
year.
no changes whatsoever.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept the second.
Motion to accept by Commissioner Gamble, second by Commissioner Adams. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the second reading of the sheriff's budget. You have the sheriff's budget before you as well, and it is the same as we read last month. Sheriff's expecting receipts in the amount of $575,485. And he's showing disbursements of $575,485, which again zeroes out. And this is almost the same as his budget was last year, isn't it?
It's the same as it was last night, when we had the first reading, Judge, there was no changes.
There's a little change from last year, but not much.
No.
Yeah.
Is there any questions or suggested changes in the second reading of the clerk's budget, or the sheriff's budget? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move we approve the second reading of the sheriff's budget.
Motion by Commissioner Daniel to approve the second reading, and a second by Commissioner Adams. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And that's all I have on the agenda. At this time, that's all we have on the agenda at this time, unless there's something that needs to be brought before the court for the good of the county. Gary, we have your report here. Might just as a very quick update, let people know that the proceeding that Mike filed in conjunction with the Kentucky Attorney General's office regarding the dissolution of the Johnson County Rescue Squad, that is moving forward. One of the things that we were required to do was to establish various assets that the rescue squad might have in their name, and try to determine what those assets are, and then try to convert those assets into cash to be used to pay the legitimate claims. We've got several claims we're trying to verify against the rescue squad. And once we are in a little bit better position to handle the claims, then we'll be recommending that to the court that we are permitted to sell the assets. We've already gotten permission to sell 2 vehicles, Gary, that you have been involved in, and Mike, the court's been involved in. We sold those vehicles last week and recovered enough money to pay those the liens off against those 2 vehicles, and still had money, some money left over that will be put in the asset account to try to pay some of those claims. And we are slowly but surely, methodically, and it is a process. It's not something you speed up, something we're doing in conjunction with the court and keeping the Attorney General apprised, and Mike is keeping us on the track and making sure we're doing the right thing. So those trucks have been moved out, Gary.
Correct.
How about the boats and things that the other lien holder, have they picked those up yet?
The other agency that's working through the lien holder out of Illinois, they've been out there on one occasion and inspected the equipment that they'll be picking up, but they're trying to make arrangements to pick that equipment up. But I have been in contact with them. They have visited out there, seen what they're going to have to do on their end in order to come and pick that equipment up. So that's moving forward too.
Okay, so is there, have we given them a deadline or anything?
I don't think, did you send the lien company? We didn't send them any type of deadline yet. No. Judge, I'm hoping, we'll have to take into consideration the weather, maybe for the next few days, but I'm hoping within the next week,
okay,
at least, that the most of that equipment
okay,
will be
I think
out.
that'd be reasonable if it appears to be something that's going to drag out in August. So that's moving on, and hopefully we'll have that thing resolved in the next 2 or 3 months anyway, if we're lucky. Is there anything else, Gary, that you want to bring up at this time?
Just a couple of things real quick, Judge. First of all, I mentioned to you a few days ago that we've got about 7 volunteer fire departments that are going to participate in the AFG Systems and Firefighter Grants, and actually developed a MOU within these agencies. I give Mike a copy to take a look at, get his opinion on that. Last year we submitted individual applications to AFG, but we didn't get funded for any of those applications. And from what we've been told, or what we can find out, they a lot of times entertain a multi-agency application sometimes. And of course, I guess one of the benefits of that is it helps your buying power a little bit, you know, the number of sets of turnout gear that you buy. So anyway, we talked to the departments, they decided to go that route this year, and actually that's where Virginia's at this evening. She's at her office still working on that, because this grant's due on Friday. I just want to bring the court up to date on that. And also, Judge, I was going to mention about the letter that Virginia received from Frankfurt last week concerning the flat gap mitigation process, which we're all, you know, interested in that. Just briefly, I'll mention, and I know Virginia sent a copy of this on to you, Judge, but the Hazard Mitigation Council met on Wednesday, January the 6th, to select projects for recommendation to FEMA for funding based on the criteria set forth in the Hazard Mitigation Plan. I'm pleased to inform you Johnson County Flat Gap Acquisition Project has been selected to move forward within this process. So as far as the state committee's concerned, it was approved last week.
And approved and moving on, right?
Approved to move on and to do a full application, but this is the big hurdle. You know, still a lot of paperwork, a lot of things has to take place, you know. And of course, the judge is familiar, you all heard Virginia talk about benefit cost analysis has to be done for the project, and that's a lot of work in itself. You know, we'll move on through the process.
Appreciate that, Gary. Tell Virginia we thank her for her hard work. I know that's going to be a long, drawn-out process.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else to come forward this time for the good of the county? If not, I want to thank everyone for coming, and I guess we'll